Welcome to Talking Crue, an unofficial Motley Crue podcast. I'm your host, Kevin Humphrey, where I talk all things in the world of Motley Crue. This is episode 72 this week, Tommy Lee's TommyLand Part 1, the book review. But first, this week in Motley news, a little bit of it. John 5 and his guitar tech David Vela, that's V-E-L-A, posted some pictures and videos of last Friday's NAMM Guitar Fest in Santa Ana, California. This absolutely looked fantastic. There looks like there was a ton of people that showed up for this. If you went, write me a comment down below. Let me know. John Corabi and the Dead Daisies are in the news this week. They want us to mark our calendars for February the 14th, which is Valentine's Day. They will release a new single and music video for the song Love That'll Never Be on that day. This is a great ballad. If you've never heard it, go check that song out. And Motley Crue's in the news this week. They posted a reminder for everybody to get your tickets to the Vegas residency, which starts March the 28th and runs through April the 19th. If you got your tickets for this show or shows, write me a comment down below. Let me know which shows you're going to. And that's it in Motley news this week. This is episode 72, Tommy Lee's TommyLand Part 1. The book review is what I'm going to be talking about this week. On this week's episode, I'm just going to continue on what I'm calling the Tommy Lee series. I started it on episode 69, the Methods of Mayhem album review. Episode 70 was Methods of Mayhem live in Detroit 2000 review. And last week was episode 71, Tommy Lee's first official solo album, Never a Dull Moment album review. And that leads us to this week's episode. So I'm saving the timeline for next week, but I'm going to talk a little bit of info and facts about this book. So the book was published by ARTIA, that's A-R-T-I-A Books. The book is 288 pages. It was released on October the 19th, 2004. Tommy has a co-author with him, Anthony Bozza, that's B-O-Z-Z-A, who has also written other books like In Excess Story to Story, which I might actually try and check that one out. And he co-authored with Slash on his book called Slash. The book is a New York Times bestseller. So there's your info and facts about this book. Now I'm going to talk about the book review, my opinion on this book. He has his proud member, if you catch my drift, talking to Tommy Lee, and Tommy Lee kind of responds, which I actually find very amusing. I think it's hilarious. It's definitely different than anybody else, that is for sure. He does talk about Motley Crue as well as Methods of Mayhem and going solo. He talks about how to please a woman. I mean, it's Tommy Lee. I mean, you kind of get the sense of humor, the Motley sense of humor in this book. He talks about his kids, his parents. He even talks about former marriages, like with Heather Locklear and Pamela Anderson. He even discusses some drug encounters, encounters with the law, the paparazzi, which was a really big thing going on in Tommy's life, especially when he married Pamela Anderson. It seemed like he was always on Entertainment Tonight and one of those other TMZ kind of TV shows back in the day. Sometimes in a good light, most of the time in a bad light. It was great to see because Tommy Lee was on TV, but then there's times where I just kind of would scratch my head and be like, what are you doing, Tommy? But he also even talks about, because around this time when this book came out, there was a tragic accident that happened. A little kid came over to visit his sons. They were swimming in the pool, and the kid accidentally drowned. he tells this story. It's very heartfelt. You can tell Tommy, it made him very sad. You could tell he was really heartbroken over this. And when you read it, you'll get heartbroken too, being a father myself. I can't imagine. Plus, a lot more. There's a lot more stuff that he talks about. So overall, on this book, it's a really great book. Definitely different than Nikki's books. It's a quick read, a real page turner for me. It's fascinating, so you kind of get to see or read Tommy Lee's side of things. You kind of got to see Vince's side of things. You got the dirt, so you kind of get a mixture of all this stuff. Very entertaining. Like I said, you kind of get to read some of the Motley humor, where it comes from, mostly from Nikki and Tommy. But you can definitely see this. I love this book. I think it's really great. If you haven't read this, get it today. I know they're selling copies on Amazon and eBay, so no excuse to not to get this book. All right, so homework this week. Do you have this book? And what are your favorite parts of this book? One of my favorite parts is towards the beginning, where Tommy's talking about somebody asking him for an autograph while Tommy's in the bathroom. And he's kind of like, dude, can't you wait? I'm kind of busy here. And he shows his little sense of humor in it, and I think it's great. I love it. Because if you see not only Motley Crue, but any kind of star, whether movie, TV, musician, sports, if they're in the bathroom or eating, just wait until after they're done and then ask for one. But that's pretty funny. That's one of my favorites of this book. Alright, so that's it for this week. Next week, I'm going to continue on with the Tommy Lee series with episode 73, Tommy Lee's TommyLand Part 2, the album review. Yep, he had an album called TommyLand The Ride. I will talk about that next week. If you know anybody that's a Motley Crue fan, likes to talk about Motley Crue, hear about Motley Crue, send them this way. Hit that share button, copy the link, and send it to them. Tell them go on Google, Firefox, YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, and type in Talking Crue. All the episodes will pop up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button yourself. Give me a thumbs up. That I greatly appreciate it, and it helps out the podcast a whole lot. I want to thank all my new subscribers, whether through YouTube, Facebook, or Spotify. Welcome aboard. Just getting going, getting into a groove now. Everybody who gave me thumbs ups and did homework, I really appreciate that as well. I've been having some great conversations, and hopefully you guys will have conversations with each other as well. That's what this podcast is all about. It's about the Crue Nation, and we are worldwide, baby. And that's it for this week. I will see you guys next Friday, and you just took a ride on the wild side.